the reason Islamic finance has been growing so rapidly perhaps is rooted in the financial crisis. Islamic banks really outperformed conventional banks during the financial crisis because of their greater stability. And that really put them on the map. Islamic finance is different in a number of ways. First of all, the notion of money is different. For example, you cannot make money on money. So you cannot just lend someone money and earn interest on that. Lending money is not considered work. You must work for profits. Secondly, high levels of uncertainty are prohibited in Islamic finance. For example, you cannot buy and sell things that you do not own. You must own something in order to sell that, which basically means that derivatives, a number of derivatives, not all, but a number of derivatives are prohibited in Islamic finance, which basically are all about speculation. So in Islamic finance, again, you have to tell the other party about all the risks that at least you are aware of and put them on the table before a deal is struck. Third, you can only invest in ethical projects. For example, you cannot invest in gambling or alcohol or other such projects. Islamic finance or Islamic banks certainly face a much harder constraint when it comes to new product development, because they are subject to approval from Sharia boards within these banks, which means that it has to be kosher, it has to be ethical, it has to meet a number of different criteria before it can be introduced into the market, which means you cannot just make stuff up. I think the future for Islamic finance is great. And it is not only because it offers a much more stable banking system because of the various constraints within which it operates, but also because an increasing number of people are realizing the benefits of Islamic finance. And thirdly, because the costs, which were a prohibiting factor initially in Islamic finance, the costs generally tended to be high with Islamic banks because of all the hoops that they had to jump through. The costs are now rapidly coming down as more and more standardization takes place. So all these things make me think that the future for Islamic finance is quite bright. I think the Prime Minister's announcement that the UK government will be issuing an Islamic bond and becoming a more serious player in this whole field is very welcome news to the industry. First of all, it really helps the UK industry because there is massive liquidity in Islamic institutions that they will be able to tap into now, and that can finance infrastructure projects and other things. Secondly, Islamic institutions themselves have been looking for AAA assets to buy, and this gives them an ideal way forward. And of course, third, London cannot afford to stay out of this game anymore if it is to stay the capital of world finance. The Islamic finance program covers a number of different things. First of all, we will start out with an introduction to what Islamic finance is, but very quickly we move on to how it complements conventional financial products, how the notion of risk is different in Islamic finance, which is critical to Islamic finance because they have to manage a number of different assets, real assets. And for that, they need much more stringent risk protocols. And so we will devote quite a bit of time to assessing risk. Then we will also come to the strategic challenges that Islamic banks face in their own markets and in the markets in which they are trying to expand. And we will discuss what are the different business models that they can experiment with. What works, what might not work. Do they keep doing things the way they have been doing, or should they be looking at some completely different alternatives? And then we will also talk about innovation in Islamic finance, and we'll talk about human the role of human resource. This is also something that they need to pay increased attention to as they go into more competitive markets. And finally, we will end with a detailed session on where is Islamic finance going, what can we expect this market to be like in about 5 to 10 years, and how do we prepare for that? It's aimed at a diverse audience. So naturally, Islamic bankers would perhaps benefit the most from that. But at the same time, people who are not Islamic bankers yet, but they are considering this opportunity seriously. And then there are the regulators. Then there are the lawyers who have to deal with Islamic finance. So anyone who has any interest in this rapidly growing field is very welcome. The program is being held in Cambridge, London, and Dubai. First of all, to raise awareness to different audiences. Secondly, to enable us to learn what different audiences, actually want, and the different preferences in with regards to knowledge about Islamic finance and what they want to acquire in these markets. And thirdly, to also provide different networking opportunities for the participants. The feedback on the program so far has been excellent. When I say Islamic finance, the word Islamic raises a lot of red flags for people. So it gives us an opportunity to go behind just popular notions of what anything Islamic is all about, and really talk about or discuss the philosophy that is behind that, which is acceptable or should be acceptable to anyone, whether we mention the word Islamic or not. And secondly, I think the opportunity for discussing a number of things that people have been wanting to discuss but have not found the ideal forum for that has been really appreciated by participants.